Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Today, inshallah, I will explain to you how to create and develop a shooting game, how to make the gun shoots with all the effects, with all the things needed to make this to make the shooting game more realistic and attractive. Let us start with importing the assets that we will use, and not only the assets, all the props that we will need. Firstly, we can go online. There are some assets that we will need. You can access them. You can find them on Asset Store. All you need to do is just to search on Google for Asset Store, then open the website. You can search for particle bag for the first one that you will need. You will find two assets. We are going to use the particle bag, not the legacy. And also for a modular first person controller, also this one we will use. And this one, the particle bag. Also, the gun sound effect, you can find it on Mixcat. You can find a free one and then you can download it. Also from the free 3D, you can download a gun. Before we start, let us install these assets. Let us start with the add this asset. Once you find it, click on it and then add to my assets. And here you need to sign in. Also the password. And then you can open it in Unity. Click on download. Once it's finished, click on import. And import again. Yes, for all, because it's a little bit old. We want the Unity to fix and then just upgrade the codes. And now it is inside the project. You can find it here inside the assets, first person, and then you can drag it here. And now we have it. We just need to fix it a little bit. For the collider height, I'm going to increase it like this, and then place it down like this. And also I need to create a few things. For example, plane, like a ground, R, ground, R to change the scale. And then I need to put it down. Yeah, this will be okay. Here, let me create a material for the ground to give it a brown color. And place it here. Just make it darker. And let me reduce the smoothness like this. Of course, I will need another extra materials. Just let me test the first person controller. I clicked on the play. Yeah, I have a problem I need to fix because I have two cameras. I don't want that. The main camera I don't need. I just want to work with the camera inside the first person. Now let us try again. Now, as you see, I can move. Okay, this is for the first person. Now let me download the other asset. I have it here. I can click install, but because I have it, I already have it. I can click on open Unity. Here I have it. I can click on download it again. Also, the package manager, you can open it by going to window and then package management and then package manager. You can reach these things from it. Import, install and upgrade, import. Now I also have it here inside the packages. You'll find it. Inside the assets Unity technologies particle pack. You will find it here. We will use it in this course, in this tutorial, inshallah. Now let us move on to prepare all the things we needed before the scripting. Now I need to import the gun 3D model, also the sound effect that I'm going to use. In order to import them, I just can download them from the website that I showed you, and then I can drag them here, or I can click on Show in Explorer and copy them and paste them here. For me, I put them inside a folder called Shooting. Here I put the sound effect and also the 3D model for the gun. Once you do that, you will find inside the assets the folder you create. And here I have the sound effect and also the 3D model. I have it here. I'm going to drag it here and place the material on it. But before that, let me zoom in and then let me add the material to it, the textures. After that, I need to split the screen to put the gun in the accurate location. I can put it here. Let us test to see. Yeah, but before that, I need to put it inside the camera, the first person camera here, and then I can test. Yeah, it is good. And now I can start working on the scripting. In order to do that, I need to create a new script, mono behavior. Let me name it gun. Click on it, and let us start working on the development. Let me define some variables at the beginning. Public, float, damage. We are going to use it to add an effect to the objects that we shoot. For now, let us give it a value 10. Another variable, float, range, For the range, I'm going to specify where the limit of the bullet or the beam that I'm going to create. That means after this limit, the beam or the bullet will not have any effect. So for now, let me give it 100. I can change it later. Also, I need to define a variable for the camera because I'm going to work based on it. The camera inside the first person. So here, public, the type of the variable, camera, first person, cam, and semicolon because I'm going to drag the camera as an object in Unity. Here inside the update, I don't think that I will need the start. Inside the update, I'm going to check when the user click on the button fire. So here, if input dot get key down, and here fire 1, and let me close the parentheses. If that happened, what I want to do, I want to call a function called shoot. But let me make the S capital. Of course, it will give me an error because still I do not have this function. Why I use the down? I can use in getting the input, I can use the up and down and without get key or get button down. Also here it's better to use the button, get button down. Down means even if I keep holding the mouse or the keyboard key, the codes will be executed for one time. If I remove the down, the command will keep executing, will keep repeating. If I put it up, get button up or key up, that means the code inside these two curly brackets will be executed when I move the mouse key, when I move my hands on the mouse key or the keyboard. Now, outside the update, I need to create a new function, void, with the same name here, but of course without the semicolon. I need to add two parentheses, two curly brackets, and inside them I need to start decoding. The first thing I'm going to write is define array cast raycast hit because I'm going to make the object or the character fire a virtual beam toward the object. And based on that beam, I'm going to make the actions, like what is the object hitted, what to do when the object get hitted. If it beyond the range, then nothing will happen. All of these things I will do by using array cast. So here I'm going to make it define a variable and the type of that variable raycast. And after that, let me start preparing the beaming, firing the beam or the ray toward the objects. Here, if physics dot ray cast, another round bracket, the camera variable I defined, dot transform, dot position, This is the first attribute I want to send because I want the beam to start from the camera position, and then the same variable dot forward because I want to beam or the ray start from the camera and moving forward. Uh, Also the out hit, and the last variable I want to add is the range, to specify the range for the shooting. If that happen, then what I want to do, for now, let me just test it by writing the debug.log, and here hit the variable I defined dot transform dot name. I want to use this code to check whether the beaming works or not. So by using this code, hit dot transform dot name, it will give me inside the console the name of the object hit it inside once I hit on a play. Now let me click on save and go back to Unity and start adding some extra objects around here. Game object 3D. Let's create a cylinder. Let me put it here, for example. And I'm going to create a material to give it a color. And let me name it. I will name it after, but for now, another duplicate. Also, I will duplicate the material, give it, for example, a green color. And then let me move it here. And after that, duplicate, 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 another copy. Then let me duplicate this. Okay. So now let me select the green one. And then rename them. Green. I'm just going to copy it and select all the folders and then paste the name here. For these, I'm going to name them red because I'm going to work with these names. And also, they already have a collider. It is better. I will work also with the rigid body. So I'm going to add a rigid body to all of them. Physics, rigid body. I'm not going to change anything for now. Now just let me click on plate for test. And here I need to open the console to test. The code will not work because there is something I need to add, I need to do. I created the script. I need to attach the script, my script to the gun. I have the script here. I don't want it to be here. I want it to be on the main assets. Reload. Okay, then I will drag it and put it inside the gun, on the gun. Let me drag it here. I have the camera as a variable. I need to add it because the beeping will be based on it. And now I can test. Just let me open the console to be able to see. See, when I hit here, it gives me ground, red, green, red, green. It works, the beeping, it works fine. Now, let us move on to the other things. For example, I want to write the code. When I hit the object for 2 or 3 times, it got destroyed, for example. Let us do that. In order to do that, I'm going to create another script, scripting, mono behavior, target, 1, inside the target 1, I'm going to define a variable, public float, health 1, and I'm going to give it an initial value. Here I need to define a new variable, a new function. I don't need these. Public void. I added a public before because I want to access this function from another, from the other script. So here, for example, take damage, and I want to receive a value from the other script when the user hit an object. So here, let me define a new variable, float amount. And inside it, what I want to do, I have the health here. I'm going to use it to decrease the object health based on the player shooting. So here, health minus equal amount. That amount will be sent to me from the other script. And here, if health below or equal 0, what I want to do, I need to call another function that I'm going to create. If the health reaches 0, then what I want to do, I want to create another function, void die without the semicolon, and here I need to destroy game object. When that will happen, when the health reaches 0. Why the health reaches 0, I will explain in a minute, but for now, let me click on save and go back to Unity. Go back to Unity here and open the gun script. And here inside, here, I'm going to call to define a variable target one, variable of the other script name. Let us name it target one in small, equal hit dot transform dot get component. And here I'm going to call the target one, the other script. Here I put the other scripts content inside this variable. Now I can access them. So here what I want to do, if the target one, this variable is not empty, not equal none, then what I want to do, target one dot take damage. Take damage is the function I created at the other script. What I want to send to it, the damage value I have here. What I did here, what I did is when the player click on the fire button, what will happen? Beside the beaming from the camera toward the objects, also the other script will be called, and the function inside the other script is going to be called, and the value of the damage will be sent from here. So per click, per fire, and per bullet, the damage will be based on the value here. So it will be the value sent from here to the other script will be 10. Here from the other script, when we call this function will receive the damage value inside this new variable. And based on that, the health would start decreasing by the amount, which is 10. When it reaches 0, another function will be called here, the die function, to destroy the object. So that means I need to hit the object 5 times to this value to be 0, and then the object will be destroyed. So here, let me click on save, and here, let me click on save. And the other script I created, I need to place it where? I need to place it at all the objects I created, the target one. So here I need to add it. If you can check, it is available now. I can put the mouse here, and then I can start testing. One hit, second, third, fourth, 5. I need 5 hit to destroy an object. I can make the damage, for example, 20. What will happen now? Let us try. The object will need 2 hits, and the third one will vanish. Now, before I continue, I prefer to add the sound effect. How to do that? I already told you how to import the sound effects here as a file. Now let me go back to the script. Inside the gun, what I want to do here, I'm going to define a new variable, of course, public, audio source, audio source. Here, let me make it small letter. This is the variable, audio source 1. I'm going to put the sound effect inside it. And here inside the shooting, when this happen, what I want to do, audio source one dot play. I want to play the sound effect. Let me click on save. And then go back here. I have the script here. I need to drag the sound effect here inside it. Let me add an audio source and place the source inside it, and then put it here inside the audio source. Play on awake, I don't need. Let us try now. Course, the audio need to be edited. There is a little bit space, empty space at the beginning. You can edit it, but here I'm just showing you a technique. So now this is how the adding an audio source will work. So now let us move on to the other things that we can add to make it more attractive. For example, now uh, I can add some particles or some effects to make the shooting more realistic. How to do that? Particle system, you need to click on right, and then go to create. Oh, sorry, not from here, from the game object, and then effects and particle system. Now you can start testing the particle system and adjust all these attributes to make it more realistic. For example, the duration 0.5, no need for the looping. The lifetime, for now, let us put it 0.01. The speed 17. The start size 30, for example. And here, yeah, these things I don't need to edit but I'm going to create a light, a point light. This light, I'm going to place it here inside the effect. And then I will, yeah, I will hide it, but I will place it here inside the effect. Now, if I click on looping, play, yeah, okay, let me stop the looping. And now I need to place it in front of my gun. Let me reduce the scale a little bit. little more. Okay, before I continue, let me write the needed code to make it work accurately. I need to go back to the Visual Studio. And here I need to define a particle. I need to define a variable, particle, the type of that variable, particle system. Let me name it PR. And here I just inside the function, I need to PR dot play. I just want to call it and hit on save. Before I add it, I need to place it inside here with the inside the camera. And here I need to drag it and put it inside the variable. And now let me click on play to test. Yeah, I have an effect. I want to see it clearer. I need to access this material. Select material. I can edit it more. I can reduce the time. Lifetime for the particles. Like 3, and check. Yeah, now it is better. And also the other thing that I need to add is to add an effect once the bullet hit an object. I want to add an effect to that. And for that, I'm going to use the other asset I added to here to Unity. Here inside the Unity technologies, I have the particle bag, the asset I added. Inside it, you will find, for example, effect example, we have weapon effect. If I click on it, I have prefab. Prefab means a game object. If we create it, then that object will be created as a file that we can access within the folder. For this, for the purpose of adding an effect of the shooted object, I'm going to use the muzzle flash. As you see, before I do anything, I'm going to connect it to the to my I will connect it with by using my script. So here, let me go back to the script, and what I need to do, I need to define a game object to place the muzzle flash inside it. For example, let me call it impact effect, impact EF, and semicolon. And here inside the shoot function, what I'm going to do, I'm going to call to define a new game object. I will explain why I created a new game object in a minute. Also impact effect, let me name it OP, impact effect object equal instantiate. Instantiate is a keyword that usually we use it when we want to create an object from a prefab. So here, instantiate, what I want to do, first of all, the impact effect object that I defined, semicolon, I need to specify when where the particles or the effect I want it to be. So in order to place it accurately, I want it to be faced toward the camera. So how to do that? I need to send to the system the camera location attribute and where is the camera is looking. Based on that, the particle and the effect will be placed. So here I need to send firstly call the game object that contain the particle, and then hit dot point, also criterion dot look rotation, to parentheses, hit dot normal, and at the end I need to close the parentheses and semicolon. I put these inside another game object because I want to destroy that game object after 1.0, 0.1 second. Why I want to do that? Because once I click on the fire button, the prefab that contains the effect will be created per click. If the user usually in games and shooting games, the user clicks too many times on the fire button. If I want to keep all of these objects, it will be very, very heavy on the system. So it is better to destroy them after a specific amount of time. So now let me click on save to see what will happen. Of course, I need to go back to my script here, and I want to make the muzzle flash, send it back here, original prefab variant. I have it here. I don't need that. Let me click back here. I'm going to put it here. I have it as a prefab because the system, as I said, will instantiate it, will create it during the once the user click on the fire button. But here, let me edit it. The looping, I don't want it to be. And now just let me click on play for testing to see what will happen. See? And now I have the effect as you see. Till now, we learned how to add a sound effect, how to add a particle for the gun, and how to add an effect on the shooted objects. Also, I can add a power. I can add an extra code or to make to increase the effect on the shooted object. For example, I can make the objects fall down because of the bullet that they received. How to do that? Let me go back to the script, and here, if hit dot rigid body not equal null. That means if the object I hit contain a rigid body. If not, then this will not happen. So here, what I want to do, hit dot rigid body dot add force, and between two parentheses minus hit, because I want the force to be at the opposite direction, dot normal, and multiplied by, I can add another variable to adjust the amount of effect. Let me call it impact force 1. Of course, it will give me an error because I don't have this variable. So here, public float impact force, let us make it equal 15, for example. And here, let me add letter F at the end. And now let us test it and see, check if it seems that I forget something. Yeah, I need to close this curly bracket. Save. Let us see. Yeah, now it works. As you see, I can increase the effect by using here the impact force. I can make it 50. I'm just want to show you what will happen. Okay, if I make it 100. As you see. Okay, what about if I want to test whether the user hit the green one or blue one? If I want to decrease the scores or increase them based on that, how can I do that? Here, let me define, let me name it score. Let us make it 0. And here, what I want to do, I want to use this thing. And here, if dot name equal to double quotation and begin and end. If the ray cast hit an object with the name of red, what I want to do, score plus plus, here score minus minus. I want to copy it and paste it. Green. Here I will do it score plus plus. Okay, and then what I want to do also here, if if score greater, lower or equal than 0, then I can print a message, for example, inside a debug.log game over. Of course, this is just for testing. Why? in real in real games, usually what we do instead of this, we test these scores and then we show a message. We can increase them on the screen. If the user hit all the red ones, then the uh, the a game over scene might be loaded, and then or try again, something like that. I'm going to put all of these things here inside. And let me click on save. Yeah, here I need to make it equal for the statement. I cannot just put it equal. For if statement, I must make it double equal. Here, let me score 0. I'm not going to keep it as 0. I will make it, for example, 5. Okay, save. And then let me here check the scores. The score will be per hit. Let me check now. Let me make this 5. The score would be reduced and decreased and increased based on the hitting, not destroying the object. 3, keep reduces. Now you can see at the console there is a game over. We can load a new scene for gaming over, or asking the player to try again, something like that. We can show the scores on the screen by using the text Mesh Pro. All of these things we can do. And that's how to create a shooting game, simple shooting games with all the effects, the particles that you might need. That's it for today, and see you next class, inshallah.